All right, so today's the day to start getting stuck into the stringers, finally. So enough side quests, enough side things to do. So, all right, what I've got a laid up hull. I need to measure my stringers and all that kind of stuff and cut them at the right height. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set some timbers across the hull. So I'm going to run the floor height pretty well level with that, but I'm going to laser it to make sure. So what I need to do is essentially get that set, then I'm going to laser my center, mark my beams. I'll cut another set of timbers to the width I want the stringers to be, and I'll screw them to the underside. And then I'm going to measure down to get my cut my stringers. I'll screw them to the side of the piece that I've cut, so that's then locked in, and then I can bog and glass them all in. So I've got to peel up this peel ply, but I'll do that last. And yeah, we'll get into it. So kick off a time lapse. Alright, so we're getting there. So that piece of pine molding is 18 by 18 square. So that is going to be my stringers at a 750 center. Now I am going to be laying up the stringers very, very thick. I'm going to go a single layer of Thermolite, but I'm going to just put like a lot of glass on it. One of the things you've got to get your head around when you're fiberglassing is if you're used to building things out of timber, you need the strength in the timber. When you're building something out of fiberglass, the timber or the Thermolite or the foam or the whatever it is that you're building, that's the form, that's the product that you're glassing to. The glass is the structure, not the piece of material you're talking about. So I'm going to be using Thermolite, but I'm using the Thermolite as the core. I don't need to double thickness the Thermolite. I'd rather double thickness the glass. So it's weight, it's central, it's nice and easy to do. It's just added strength and it's weight down low. So I'm not particularly concerned about weight in this boat. I'm probably going to have 200 horsepower hanging off the back when I'm done. But I would rather, taking a leaf out of, there's a bloke that runs Razor Craft boats, Harry, absolute legend of a bloke for advice. So I've picked his brain quite a bit, and I'll be doing layup like him, where it's simple form, not a huge amount of Thermolite, but massive amount of glass. So that's the intention of this puppy. What I'm going to be doing is running like a combo square, measuring down, getting my measurement, marking it, doing that, because this is my straight edge reference. So then I rule a straight edge on the Thermolite, and then I measure down, put this on top, measure down that distance, put a mark, and then I'll cut my thing, and then I'm measuring the long edge here. So I'll cut it long, because as I go up the hill, I'm always going to measure on the inside, which is the deeper point. As I go up the hill of the actual hull, so the hull is shaped like this, I will just hit that with a belt sander or hit that with an angle grinder or whatever, and cut a bevel into it. So then it sits on the hull nice. So that's the intention. So yeah, let's get back to watching it. So this is the offcut of my transom sheet. So this Thermolite stuff it's $500 a board. So And I think it's gotten more expensive since I bought it. So anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut my stringers out of this. I'm a little concerned about that, but at worst I'm going to have like a 10mm joint. I haven't actually measured it, but I reckon I might be okay. All right, so this is my template. So essentially, what I need is along this sheet, I need to run a straight edge. But so long as around here, I've got my highest height is 230.5 mil. These are my heights of the stringers. That's my highest height. So right in the middle. So of course it's right near my cutout, but I think I might be all right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rule a straight edge across this side and across this side, 230 mil that way. That way I can use that as my reference point, and then I measure down this distance at each of these, and that gives me my cut. So if I'm looking at it this way, I'm doing the port side, so it's this side that I need to cut, whereas when I do the other side, I'm going to have to flip the board and do it from the other way. So nothing too crazy, but we'll get into it. So normally you catalyze at 2%. I've got 550 mil, so 2% of that is about 11 mil. I think it's meant to be 2% by weight, but I've always just gone 2% by volume, and I haven't had issues. So I should actually check out the densities of it, so that way I'll see how far off I am, but I can't be asked. Anyway, so I'm going to go 15 mil of catalyst, so that's running around the 2.5%, 3%. It's close to 3%. Actually, I'll go 14 mil. Now the reason for that is it's going to be quite thin, this coat, and I want it to kick off, and ideally I want it to kick off today, because I'd love to be able to get these in today. If I can get these in today, it's a massive win. Always stir the sides. let's say the camera can see this. So this bogging, what it does is it gives you an edge, a nice rounded edge. And then your glass, which hates doing a right angle. It really doesn't like it. You get a bunch of air in there. So what it does is it means that the glass can sit out a little bit on that edge that you formed with the bog. The other benefit it does, so when I built my last boat, I would make that edge, that coved edge, and then I waited for the bog to go off like an idiot. And this little grinder, this little puppy, I put 40 belts through it, I reckon, just regrinding bog on coves. So I was watching a few different people, but I think Adventures Adrift, got some inspo from him, and he lays it up the bog, lays a glass on top, and it just makes so much sense. So you roll it all out, and then you have a nice chop strand edge, all the bog's all laid down, there's no sharp edges, there's no nasties, and you can just lay straight up on it. So anyway, we'll get into it. I'm a little concerned with the fact that the tack isn't coming up on the laminating resin. So I'm a little bit concerned that it's cured a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very quickly belt sand this, and I'm going to put a very, very small strip of choppy. I've only put, when you watch the video, I've only put a very small strip of this side. I'm actually going to grind that off later on today and relay it all. It's just out of an abundance of caution. I've just gone, this peel ply, it's not as tacky as I'd like it to be, so like I might key it up and then relay. Just the idea of a stringer coming off in the future, and I'm sure it would never happen with the amount of glass I'm going to put on it, but I might as well just prep the surface just over the top. So, although I have got a pot of bog right there, so I'm going to work quick.
G'day guys. So, all spermied up, ready to rock and roll. So one of the problems I've got is I used peel ply on this, so that's a leftover bit of peel ply just there. I've got to, when I remove this timber, I can get the rest of it off. But when I acetone wiped this, it didn't tack up very well. So I reached out to a boat builder, Harry from Razorcraft. He's a bloody legend when it comes to hints and tips. Don't flog him. I try not to flog him, but he's a fucking ripper resource to have. Long story short, if you're going to run more than a couple of days, you need to sand it back, sand back your fiberglass after you've put peel ply on. So on this side here, I put a very small amount of choppy on. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to grind that back to bare hull. I'm going to leave just the tiniest little strip where I can't get the sander to, and then all my other layups will be like to freshly ground glass. So I'm not particularly concerned with the amount of glass I'm putting on. The laminate's not going to fail. So yeah, it's just be ludicrous. But I'm going to grind out this whole hull, and I'm going to get the whole front section done as well. So hence putting on the sperm suit. And then what we can do is start measuring up stringers for the front section. So I'll laser that, and we're apples. So let's just get into it. Alright, so the hull, she's all ground out. So now we're at the point, and the camera's not going to pick it up, but we're at the point where we can start seriously thinking about our floor setup. So what I've got here is a laser that's throwing a beam. You can just see it just picking up the top of that stringer and the top of that stringer there. And so if I come up here, it'll vibrate around as I'm doing this, but that there is my floor height. Stop the boat shaking for a minute. That there is the bottom of my finished floor. And if I look around here, this here is my floor height. So I'll stay still for a minute. So I'll put the camera down. I'm not going to bore you doing this. I'll do it two-handed. Next steps, we're going to measure at each of these points down this distance. So 241, 236, 227. We're going to use the factory edge on this board all the way down to 0. So it's going to walk like this. So what I'll do quickly is I'll mark my lines where we're measuring to, and then we'll get after it. So I think I've said this before, this stuff's $500 a sheet. So I got a factory edge and I was going to cut it my other side out of there, but that would leave me with a massive kind of useless area. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut a straight edge across here, come as close to that cut as possible. I'm essentially what you'd call in like CNC, I'm nesting like as tightly as I sort of can. And I think that my next stringer is going to face the other way, so it's then going to go this way and cut in that way. So hopefully it nests really well, but we'll find out. So I've just stuffed it up. Alright, it is fair to say I'm chuffed with that outcome. So, at least I haven't completely burnt a sheet, because if I had to cut out of there, the whole rest of that sheet would have been useless, and at least when I want to do bulkheads, I'll have enough Thermolite there to do all that, hopefully. If not, it'll be fine. Alright, so next steps. I've got to key up this, grind out the bevel, take out a little bit of there. That's really it. So, stringer center is 710 mil. So what I want to do is I want to get this set in so the stringer sits straight.
Alright, so now the stringer is sitting straight. It's as level as it sort of can be. Spaced out as best as it can. And we are level with that straight line. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to acetone wipe all of this, and I'm going to give it a really light coat of bog. So next steps. Oh. So acetone is heavier than air. So I've filled up the bottom of this hole with acetone fumes. So if I pass out, I'll probably die. Maybe. Oh, thank God that's done. Alright, so stringers are in. So I'm going to leave it there, I reckon. The next steps are going to be, and because this video is already massively too long, so that's stringers in, that's how to get them all in nice and level in the way that you want them to be. The next steps is going to be what I think they call thwart chips, but just little corner pieces that go in here, and the actual strong layout. So I'm going to be laying a bunch of glass on here. So my next video, I'll jump over here. My next video, I'll show all the structural glass going on the stringers, cutting in these corner pieces, and then grinding out this plank here and putting all that in. So I'm going to do that once I've got these pieces in. So it's probably a couple of weeks worth of work there. So this has been about 2 weeks worth of work, punching it out a little bit. So it's, I don't know, 7 o'clock at night now. Been going at it since I knocked off work. So anyway, see you on the next one.